Good morning, everyone. So it's about time for our webinar. Let's just wait for a few more minutes so that the others can join in. Okay, let's just wait. All right, someone's still coming in, so we just wait for 3 more minutes maybe. I saw someone still coming in, so just sit back and relax while waiting for the rest. Good morning. So before we start, if you can see on your application, there is a question box there. So maybe if you have questions regarding the topics, so later on we're going to have a Q&A session if we still have time. And then, yeah, let me try to answer all your questions. So you can find it on your application as question box, and then you can type in there your questions, or even beforehand, you can type in something, and then we will try to answer them after the presentation or on the Q&A session. All right, I think we've given enough time. So good morning again, everyone. Welcome to my webinar. So this webinar is actually entitled New Features and Updates in ALLPLAN 2025. So let me share my screen. Okay, just for a moment. All right, so everyone can see my screen, I guess. Yep, okay, great. So as I mentioned, so this webinar is regarding the new features and updates in ALLPLAN 2025. So I cannot discuss the whole updates, but at least I will give you some of the features that they enhanced, specifically for something like for precast or even architectural discipline. So basically for this part, my presentation is, I'm going to show my presentation slide, right? So, yep. So just a short background about myself. So I am Jason Panganiban, a civil engineer by profession in the Philippines. Also a member of this Association of Structural Engineers of the Philippines, with over 13 years of experience or more than, I guess, with regarding to precast, and I'm using the ALLPLAN software for these projects. Short background again from our company. So our company was GSI. So just for those who doesn't know us, so we started about 2019, and we are a partner of ALLPLAN, which is under the Nemetschek group. So we have these numbers. We have 3 offices already, and then more than 35 employees. So we support, or our services is actually software sales. We also do BIM software development and also technical support and training. So when it comes to the software that we're, let's say, introducing, so we are also capable of doing the technical trainings and support if needed. Okay, so next is the Nemetschek group. So just a short background of the Nemetschek group. So this Nemetschek group has this tagline, which is software solutions for the entire building life cycle. So their goal is actually from the planning and design until the operate and manage. So we are capable of doing the whole process when it comes to construction. So as you can see from below, there are different programs that you can use in different categories, which is all under Nemetschek group. So this is the overview. So from a planning and design, so we have of course the ALLPLAN that we're going to for our topic today, for the software that we're going to use. So we also have the Graphisoft, Pisa, Solibri, and Vectorworks. So the rest actually is, I think some of the softwares here are familiar in your case. So if you have questions, you can just ask us regarding the softwares. Okay, so just numbers from the Nemetschek group. So it's over about, not so fast. Okay, so we're about 7 million users, and then about 851.6, okay, 851.6 million euro in revenue just from last year. So I think it's going up again by this year. Okay, so we will move on to our agenda. So we're going to discuss some of the Formwork tools that highlighted on the post. So I can say most of the companies or most of the users of ALLPLAN actually does not use Formwork. So basically, when I was also in the, what they call this, in the Precast company, I normally don't use Formworks. I just do model using ALLPLAN. But when I figure out that it's very useful, then I think it's better to use these tools because it's already available in the software and they enhance this more. Next is the Precast Data Validator. So this will be used definitely when you're going to check something. So later on, I'm gonna discuss more. AR architectural features, which is the AR visualizer. So this is a very, I can say, a very nice function or functionality because I myself actually I'm not a really good or professional when it comes to, let's say, rendering or any idea of how it's gonna be look like more presentable to the customers. So this is a very useful in my case. Then, of course, after that will be the live demo and the Q&A session, and of course, the presentation. So, okay, so we start with the Formwork tools. Okay, so Formwork tools, these features actually already available from, I think, even the previous versions, but I just want to highlight that they have enhanced this more. So they are more faster to do. They are more easier to create. So yeah. So as you can see, there's a functionality wherein the assigned formworks along surface is already available. So even in the curved surfaces or for curved elements, you can easily create the formwork, right? And then of course, the benefit of this one is you can export this data, right? So as you can see from the picture, I exported or generated the individual element of the formwork. So basically, I will just go through how to create those formworks um, based on the model and then just generate from those formworks, right? So next one is for the Precast Data Validator. So as you can see from the picture, is something like a rule or what do you call this? Something like checker. That's why it is very, I can say very useful now. It is just developed on this 2025 version. And from the samples there, I think you can understand what it means. So from here, the functionalities is actually, it gives you a fixed rules for the standard checks. So it means, like what you have mentioned, if you have set some rules, basically with your precast elements, so it will give you a notification, or a notification will pop out and showing your rules. So if your element don't have any issue or did not violate this rule, then it will continue. But if not, then there's a notification, either a warning or until to the um, error. So this also, from this one, also you can define a fixed constant values. Let's say, for example, for your tolerances, okay? So you can already say, um, when you do this check, considering the tolerance, so it will give you a notification that, let's say, it exceeds your tolerance, or it's actually just giving a warning that are you going to continue, something like that. So this will help you to check your elements. So as I mentioned before, several escalations of levels, like from warning to error, right? So it depends on your rules, right? So this can be, let's say, ruled out in, let's say, any precast element, individual or in a group. So you can use these tools. So later on excuse me, later on this demo, I'm gonna show you these features, these rules, how it can be executed. All right. So yeah. Then okay. So as you can see from the images, architectural enhancements. So as I mentioned, from just a normal 3D object, I am not a pro in rendering, so I can generate something like on this side, half of this side, it's a rendered. So later on, I'm going to show you how it can be done with just few information that you have to key in, and then you can already see this feature. Of course, with some settings a little bit, then you can adjust it anything. Okay. So this functionalities has actually they incorporated already inside ALLPLAN, this Veras, if some of you are familiar with Veras rendering, something like that. So, and also AI visualizer. So of course nowadays AI is very popular. Anything I just say command or create, type in, um, it can, well, the software or anything, it can be generated using the AI, right? And another functionality is actually the information palette. So this is also new in 2025 version, wherein all your attributes regarding the elements that you highlight, you can generate them, and you can see the informations or the properties of those elements. So later on, we can go deeper on this part, right? So yeah, okay, so it's demo time. So let me stop my sharing. How can I stop my sharing? Oh, so fast. All right, so I'll share my other screen because we're on a demo now. So let me share my other screen. All right, so right, so basically, this is ALLPLAN. For those who doesn't know the ALLPLAN, so this is how it looks like. All right. Um, so I have a sample here of an element. It's actually a 3D object. So later on, I can create them as a precast. So okay, so what we're going to do is actually we do the formwork first. So from the formworks, as you can see, they're all 3D elements. So I can convert them or combine them. So let's just combine everything in one, right? So it's already one 3D element, right? Okay. So next is, of course, for precast elements, we just need to convert it. Then of course, for the normal cast items, sorry, cast in situ, then we just leave it as a 3D object. But for this case, we just convert this to precast. But yeah, it's reference property. Right, so I just select this one. It's my precast. Let me just activate this one. Okay, just change the one. Yep, this one. All right. So okay, for the precast elements, we just need to create a formwork. So we just go to this formwork tab. Okay, so formwork tabs, you have these functions or functionalities. So everything is available here. And then we just have to say create a formwork area. So the first step is actually create the formwork areas. So I will just select my element. But before that, I can just open my properties, and as you can see, I can define some setting here if you want it according to general setting or setting from existing component, custom definition. So you can change the color if you want. Let's try to change the color. So let's not this one because it's lighter. So maybe darker. Let's try this and then select. Okay, oh, sorry, I escaped. Oh, again. So properties, custom definitions. Let me check. Okay, maybe we can just use this one first, and later we can check because for the formwork we're going to use the different colors so you can see it easily. So let's select this one, and as you can see, it copies the profile. So I can say just click on here, and then let's type in name. So formwork, just to type in a name, and then just put it here. So yeah, so we have generated a formwork of this, a copy of this. And now the next step is actually just allocate formwork area. So as you can see, when I just highlighted or just placed my cursor along this element, you can see that it detects already your formwork. So basically, um, we just select the surfaces. So let's select this one and this one. Okay, so before I forgot, as I mentioned, I can change the color first. So let's just change the property, allocate formwork, and properties, open, so we can change this color to let's say magenta. All right. And then here, there's also properties. So if you have some settings here that you need to define, you can define. Board thickness, of course, it's just a general term, but if you're using steel or yeah, timber or whatever, then you can just specify what is the thickness, and then yeah, the bond if you have, and then if you have some other properties that you need to define here. All right. For now, we just leave it into default. Okay. And then I will just select the surfaces. Let's say this surface. Of course, my casting area will be on top, let's say, or actually it depends on your planning, which one you want to cast. So I'm just thinking to use this portion. So from plan view, I will just create a formwork. And as you can see, it automatically create a board on the on your element. So even this side, so I can select the surface, right? And I can select the other surface, right? Even this part. Okay, so this one, and the internal, right? So make it, let's use this. Okay, and then just say right click, and it automatically detects your formwork. So you don't have to worry on how you can create your formwork when it comes to the curved surfaces, because using this tool, you can already have your formwork on that curved element. So just to continue, I'll just complete this and this part, of course, this one, and what else? The surface. So just detecting the surfaces, and it will give you your formula. All right. So again, for this part, I think yeah, I need this one. I need this one, sides, of course. Definitely needed. This one. What else? Okay, for this part later on, you can provide that. Okay. Even the inside. So let's put something inside. So here, of course, this part has to have formwork. Okay. So as you can see, I just click on the surface and I have my surface, my formwork. Right. So for this case, of course, we need to provide on the side. So what we can do here is we can say I want to create a model using this one, a box, and from there, let's use the isometric, which is here to detect the lines. So let's say from here until here, let's from here maybe let's put something in the x, so 20. Oop, yeah, never mind. I can adjust that one. So I just place a manual board or just a 3D object, so I can stretch that part. So this one or two, let's say on this side. Okay, so the reason why I have, of course, I need to have some boards on that side. So of course, it's not that really proper because of this, but below should be proper. And then later on, we're going to provide some of the juggling parts here because for the, let's say, the bed. Okay. Or if you want, you can also create a surface or a board for this part. All right. And then so for this work, since it's a 3D and not this like automatic, as you can see here, automatic shuttering board. So the next step is actually from the formwork, need to create a shuttering board manually. So because we created a 3D object, right? So we just need to create this as a manual board. But before that, let me copy this side to the other side. So Of course, it will not be complete if not copied. Oops, copy this to this corner. So, all right, so it's something like this, and then right, and then I will just convert this into create shuttering board manually. So I select this two 3D object, and then this one. Okay, and then just right click. So you can see there's a summation on my mouse. So just right click on it to confirm. So as you can see, it changes to a structural element already. Structural Precast element for auxiliary element. Right? So it means it will become your shuttering board. So to make this like this one, like the automatic shuttering board, so you can just say this one, intersect shuttering boards created manually. So this part, I have to select my structural Precast element, auxiliary element. So this one and this one, right? And then right click, and then I will just select my structural element here. And as you can see now, this becomes a manual shuttering board. So previously it's a 3D element. We just change this to an auxiliary member, and then convert this to a manual shuttering board. So that's the process. And of course, for that, I can already generate for this part. So after doing the formwork, let's say you also have under what do you call this, the boards or the formwork under. So we can generate now this 3D object. So create exploded views of your formwork. So I can just select this one. And as you can see here, I can you can see there's some markings depending on the shuttering. So let me just do it in 3D object. I mean the rendered one, the animation. So click this one, select, and I should be able to, let's say, change the property. Okay, no surface. Let's say surface. Yeah. So you can see that the colors also shows some shutterings here, which part you're going to place them. Of course, it depends on your orientation, how you want to present it. All right. And then for production, of course, as I mentioned, you can generate the datas for production. So you just select this, create production data, right? And of course, just create some settings here or define some settings. So let's say one file per component. So this is what I've activated. If you have some changes here, you can define, all right? And then for this part, I can place in drawing file, or I can write to file, so it will be exported. Yes, file, project, create table file. So you just have to define. So of course it's for production. So these are the possibility where you can export it. So that, let's say for the CNC machine, for let's say for the steels. So I think these are the correct formats that you can export for this. For this part, for the presentations, I will just use place in drawing file and say okay, and just select this whole thing and right click to confirm the settings. So as you can see here now, I have all the what you call this, the formwork that you generated based on this element. So everything can be easily done, right? So yeah, there are some cutouts, of course, or connections with respect to the this component, right? So as you can see here, and of course this you can already produce in your factory for the formwork. So most of the companies I know, don't use the formwork for in ALLPLAN. So I think this will be helpful for them so that they can, let's say, generate easily their formwork. Right. So aside from that, so we can go now to our validator. All right. So I have this component. So basically, again, if you have questions, then I can entertain this later on. Yeah. So I see some question here. Anyway, just to continue, so we go now to the next one, which is the validator. So I will just create a signed drawing file here. Maybe, right? All right. So I just go to the new file. Okay, for the validator, this is specifically for precast elements, right? So in the precast elements, you can find this validator in the catalogs, right? And then it is on this part. So you can see the Precast Data Validator definitions. So as I have shown you on the screenshot or the image from the presentation, so there is this validator properties wherein you can define your own validation rules. So let's say, for example, the lifting bolts validator, so it will give you a warning. Of course, this is not a formula, so it will just check your lifting anchors or lifting bolts. Same with the cast-in nuts if you are going to execute the rule. And then there is also in the, let's say, maximum weight validator, all right? So we can define this later on to have a rule or to check if there's a warning for this. So actually, it's very helpful when we use this. There's also a formula if you know if you're familiar with ALLPLAN formulas. So you can define some formulas here, and you can use that one also as a rule. So for this example, I will just use the lifting bolts validator. I will just activate the rule execution. So uh, as I said, you can use these rules even in the individual types of elements or in as a whole. All right. So I will just activate this. Maybe fixture connection as well. All right. And then just say save data and then close dialog. All right. So what I'm going to do, I will just create a wall. All right. What's the property of the wall? Okay. So I will just go here, make it longer, right? And then convert this wall to a precast element. So I will just convert this. I will go to the design, right? So just go to the design. As you can see, it's already converted to a precast element. And then I can just divide this. All right. So I have different weights here, 3.5, 8.12. So yeah, 8.12 is divided accordingly to its equally to this weight. All right. So with respect to this example, I can now let's say create a list generator for these elements and then activate, let's say, these two parts. So as you can see, I have warnings here already, which shows me that there's no lifting bolts available, which we did not put anything. Elements is not stacked, so this is a different rule as well. And same with the number 6. So this is the 5 and the 6. So they have this same rule. So it means it actualized the validation that your elements are missing something. So if you set some rules that will define your precast elements to be more to be sent to, let's say, to the production, so it means that you need to define specifically what the rules are, and then actualize it so that when you create something like this, list generator or even the NC generator, then it will pop out a message. Let me check again with the catalog if I activate the NC generator. So for this lifting, yeah, this is NC generator. Which one? Yeah, so NC generator. Okay, so let's try with NC generator. If I actualize the whole thing, so I have this warning still. I don't have the lifting bolts. I don't have it's not stacked. Okay, so if this is fine with you because it's just a warning, you want to continue, then you can just say, okay, I will just continue generating my data. All right, so this is something very helpful because as you can see, this will help you to check what are the things that are missing on the element before you send it to the production. Okay, so it's not only the objects, but as I said, it's a formula or a value that you can specify for your rules so that it will be easier for you to check your elements before sending to production. So I think this is very, very useful when it comes to data. All right. So if this data or the validator is not activated or not executed, let's say I remove this, and what else? Activated, I will just remove, so I don't have any validation activated. So just say save data and then close the dialog. If I generate my NC or my list generator, then it will just create, okay, I already removed that. Let me check again, but definitely there should be nothing there. Okay, so I have this. Okay, let's try again. Okay, let's see if there's nothing to produce. So let's try. So it will go directly to the, yeah, so as you can see, there's no more notification on the rule that you have set. So this is a very, very useful tool for it. All right. So that's just some example for the validator. All right. So next one is the AI visualizer or for the architectural ones. So in this case, I'm going to open an example here. So let me open this. And then, right, so this is just example like what I've shown you in my what they call it, presentation. So I just have to position my element here, an example, and then I can go now to my visualization. So as I mentioned, you have the Veras here, and you have the AI visualizer. So for the Veras here, I can activate this. So if you have an account of this, then you can choose a lot of um, okay, Veras trial has expired. Okay, so I think I don't have any more my license, but anyway, so if you have account on your Veras, then you can use that because it's already linked in ALLPLAN. So yeah, this can be used mostly for your architectural presentation. So for this case, I have the free one, which is already included in ALLPLAN. Then I will just activate the AI visualizer. All right, so this is my model. And what I need to do here is just input some data. So let's say, for example, realistic. Um, what else? Award winning. Anything that you want to put on your rendered model. Award winning render. What else? Um, let me check my list. I have a list here, which is the modern precast concrete house. Okay, so we just put it's just these three and then generate. So it's generating with just a few seconds, minutes maybe. So it will give you automatic um, rendered view or image of your model. So something like this. So these are just suggestion, of course. You can still define. So I can add some more. What do you call this? Trees on the background, right? So let's try generate again. So anything that you put in, you can just generate a new one, and then it will automatically what do you call this, adjust depending on your preference. Something like this, it changed. So something like this. So I think it's really useful, especially for the architectural side. So from this part, you can generate something like this, right? So yeah, this is just only in the creativity of a 25% creativity. So if you want, you can adjust more. Let's say 30, then how it will look like. Let's just generate. Okay, so it changed again. So let's see how it looks like now. Okay, so it's a new design again. So again, these are just what do you call this? This can be helpful for a presentation. So it's not that accurate on the model that you provide, but the idea or the concept can help you on how your project will look like. All right. So for me, this is very interesting because, as I said, I am not professional when it comes to rendering or ideas. So yeah, this I think it's very useful. So anything that you placed in here, new one, you just generate and it will automatically change your preference. So yeah, this is for the AI. And then for the other one, which is the new one, which is the information palette. Okay, for the information palette, okay, so this is something like a palette here together with these properties, but because of the data, then we need to move this as a separate one. Okay, so how can we use this? Basically, you just have to activate the elements. So all the elements here, you can just say this one, fill information palette from selection. So all the informations that are included, embedded on these elements will be shown here on this list. Right? So everything is on this list. All the attributes are identified. Okay, so I think this is more useful when it comes to coordination because they can do some tracking on the information of the element. Yeah, so this is very useful. You can also do some search like symbol fixture. So this is something like a filter or just symbol maybe. Symbol. Oops, sorry. Symbol. Yeah, so symbol fixture. So it will highlight all the symbol fixture and you can define something here. You can find something. If you have some filters, so you have this kind of filters for the attributes. So let's say I say entity. Or should I remove this? Oop, where is it? There's some notes. Maybe Where is it? Where is it? Ah, okay. It's on my other screen. Okay. So if you want to find something here, you can type in here and it will show up by filter. So you can use that or type in search here, right? So with respect to this data, of course, you can also export this using this export to Excel, right? So you can just click this one and export the data, and then you can send this to those who are in need of the data or the information of your elements. So you can export the data. There's also another function wherein you can add more attributes. So either you hide all, show all, or more. So from more, you can define other attributes here. You can create. So you can add something, an attribute, and then you can place it also inside your element. So you don't have to go one by one on the element. You can just select those things that you want to add these attributes, and then you can actualize it. So they will have this for information. So it's more easier now than before because before we have to create first the attributes and then select. But for this one, we can just select the whole thing that we want to adjust or modify and then create the attribute. All right. So for that, I think I've covered the topics. If you have any questions, then that's for my demo. All right. Let me see if I have some question because our next agenda is the Q&A. So we still have around 13 minutes. So I still can cater questions. Okay. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes, this is actually really valuable. For me as a user, when it comes to enhancement, I'm really eager to understand or learn the new features and execute them on projects, which is very useful. It's very nice to have those features or functionalities. All right. Any other question? So far, that's the only question I got. Okay. So just to have give you some update as well. Of course, they keep on developing the software. So maybe for the next versions, you're gonna see more enhancement just to make the productivity, or let's say, yeah, the productivity makes you faster, easier to use, right? So let's just wait for those updates. And as you, I don't know if you have already seen that there is already a merging of SIA and Philo inside ALLPLAN. So this is not only a modeling tool, but will be also usable for design. So you can incorporate your design inside together with ALLPLAN. So yeah, that's a good merging of, of, of the software to have a full capacity for the construction. So this from design to production to erection site to construction. Right. If right, let's still have some time. So I'll just wait for a few more minutes. If you have think of some question, then I'm willing to answer. Just type in your questions on the question box. Right. So I will just flash my screen. So if you have question, let me share my screen again. If you have some questions, then you can scan my QR code, or you can sharing on my screen. Yeah, okay, so you can scan my QR code, or you can message me on the numbers. So I'm in the Philippines right now, so you can message me on my Philippine number. If you have questions, or you can email me as well, and I will respond to you as soon as I see your messages. All right? So I don't receive any more questions. Right? So I think you can just end up the call, or I'll just wait it until the end. So if you think of some any other question, just type in, and then I will respond to you right away. Mhm. So I think, yeah, we can end this session now. So I don't receive any more messages. Okay, so again, you can scan a QR code here, or you can as well um, message me or send me an email on my as shown on the screen, and I will respond to you as soon as I see your messages or your email. Again, thank you so much for joining on my webinar, and I hope to see you more on my web. I hope to see you again on the webinars that I'm going to promote or create. So, yeah, until the next time, thank you so much again. Bye bye.